Hi, I'm Hannah, this is Piles of Books, and today I'm going to be sharing some books about motherhood. So in honor of Mother's Day, which if you live in the United States, Mother's Day was like last week. It'll be almost 2 weeks ago by the time you see this video. And so I know I'm a little bit late, but better late than never, right? So I really enjoy reading books about motherhood, books about parenting, and I've got quite a stack here to share. That's my recommendations, books that I have read that I have loved, and then I've also got a couple of books that I would like to read here in the next little while that relate to being a mom. The first 5 that I have are actually all by the same author. That is Sally Clarkson. If you are not familiar with Sally Clarkson, I highly encourage you to check her out. If you are a mom, especially if you are a homeschooling mom, or really any mom. I mean, she just, her heart for motherhood is so big, and she has so much to say, and her children are grown and out of the house. So I feel like I just enjoy that perspective, I guess, a little bit. Obviously, I do really enjoy learning from moms who are in the same stage of life as me, but hers is just, like I said, a more unique perspective. So the first ones that I have to share today are her life-giving trio, I guess. There's The Life-Giving Home, Creating a Place of Belonging and Becoming. She wrote that with her daughter, Sarah. And then The Life-Giving Table. It says Nurturing Faith Through Feasting, One Meal at a Time. And The Life-Giving Parent, Giving Your Child a Life Worth Living for Christ. And she wrote this with her husband, Clay. So The Life-Giving Home is the first book of Sally's that I ever read. My oldest had just turned 1, and I also had some birthday money. So I was looking up books, I think, pertaining to a Charlotte Mason education. Mind you, my oldest child had just turned 1, but that's just who I am. But this book came up when I was searching on Amazon. So anyway, I had never heard of her, but I bought the book on a whim, and I'm so glad I did, because this book has shaped so much of my motherhood journey, and then the other 2 as well. So this book goes through each month of the year and gives you just kind of ideas for building your family culture. So let me go back to the beginning. January is creating a framework for home. February, a culture of love. Let's see. May is days to commemorate, marking growth with celebration. And June, times of delight. September, when seasons change, gathering in for home and soul. So some of the chapters she wrote and some of the chapters her daughter Sarah wrote, but I really enjoyed this. I've read it. I don't even know. There for a while I was reading it every year. So I think I've probably read it 5 or 6 times, but it's one that I will read over and over and over in the coming years. And then The Life-Giving Table. So this is really this was a really fun one, and she's just got different, well, there's a bunch of recipes in here, which is great, but she also has just different things like to do at the table to make mealtime special. She talks about, why mealtime should be special. There's, just cultivating hearts of thankfulness, creating a sense of identity. What else? The power of belonging. Just all kinds of things. Living well in the midst of life. Yeah, so this one is also really good. I've only read this once. I need to read it again. And then The Life-Giving Parent, that she, like I said, she wrote with her husband Clay. This one was really good. I think he wrote most of this. They've just got some really practical tips for parenting. I remember when I read this with my husband. I bought it and we read it. He read it out loud, and it was definitely what we needed at the time, I felt like, but I need to revisit it because, again, I've only read this one time. So the next 2 that I have of hers are The Ministry of Motherhood, Following Christ's Example and Reaching the Hearts of Our Children, and The Mission of Motherhood, Touching Your Child's Heart for Eternity. These, again, were so excellent. These are written more in a devotional type of style. So each chapter has like a couple of, like you could do a chapter a week or something. I think these would be really good to do with like a mom's book club or something, just the way that the book is formatted. But again, just a lot of scripture, a lot of practical tips, a lot of ideas for different times, different seasons of life, the more difficult seasons and the the times when everything seems to be going smoothly, but these again are excellent. Okay, so the next one I have is A Mother's Heart, a look at values, vision, and character for the Christian mother by Jean Fleming. So this book, so my sister-in-law, she read it. I guess she had picked it up from the thrift store or something. She read it and loved it, so she bought a copy for all of the rest of us sisters-in-law in my husband's family. And when she gave it to me, I was like, oh, that looks really familiar. I wonder if I've read it. And I hadn't read it, but I did have a copy that I had picked up somewhere. And so I read it and I really enjoyed it. And so I gave my copy away to another mom friend. And this book is more so, like it says, it is kind of more for a mom, geared towards the mom, not so much being a mom, but for the mom. So if that makes any sense. So on the back here it says, being a mother is an important job, but one that can easily feel frustrating and unrewarding. Jean reveals what it means to be a godly mother and offers encouragement to mothers of all ages and backgrounds. You'll be blessed by her insights as you learn how to develop godly values, vision, and character, and how to instill those same qualities in your children. This touched my heart definitely when I read it. It was a good season for me to read it. My youngest was just a few months old, and he was a very difficult baby. He's still a very energetic, rowdy 2-year-old, but there were definitely a lot of things that stuck out to me from this book. And she doesn't, it's not really sugar-coated. I mean, she just kind of gets to the nitty-gritty of things. We do get frustrated, and we are tired, and it is hard to stay sane sometimes, but these are ways that we can get through all of these more difficult challenges. So anyway, yes, this is a really great one. And the last one that I have is Karen Andriola's Pocket Full of Pine Cones, Nature Study with the Gentle Art of Learning. So this is a bit different. This is one that is very geared towards Charlotte Mason education, and this is also a fictional story that Karen Andriola wrote. This is just the story of a mom, and she's busy and she's kind of burnt out, and she wants to give more to her kids. I think it starts out with her children are in school maybe, and then she ends up homeschooling them, but this is just their journey of how they find joy in being in nature and nature journaling. I think this is a really great book for any mom. And there is a sequel, something about Blackberry Inn, but I have never read that one. So I would like to read this one again soon and then read the sequel as well. Okay, so those are the books that I feel like have shaped my motherhood journey the most. But I have 2 books that I would really like to read very soon. The first one is Give Them Grace, Dazzling Your Kids with the Love of Jesus. I have seen people talk about this, and it has been on my radar for a long time, but then just recently I had a mom reach out to me, and an older mom, and she asked me, hey, would you be interested in reading this book? I've got some extra copies and I want to give them away, and you are somebody that I thought of. And so I said, yes, that'd be great. I would love to read it. It's been something that I've wanted to read for a while. It's pretty beat up. She's got a lot of markings and different things in here, but I do kind of enjoy that, going through and seeing what somebody else, not just the author, was saying, but what somebody else was thinking about those topics. It says, all of us want to raise good kids, and we want to be good parents. But what exactly do we mean by good, and is being good really the point? So, this is written by a mother-daughter duo. So I think that'll be enjoyable because I did like the book that Sally wrote with her daughter Sarah. So anyway, this is one. She actually gave this to me a few months ago, and I've been meaning to read it, and I haven't done it yet. So I need to get to this one soon. And then the next one is Mama Bear Apologetics, Empowering Your Kids to Challenge Cultural Lies. So I do feel like this is one that has been talked about a lot. I have never read it. I think I've gotten it out from the library before, and I just didn't get around to reading it before I needed to return it. But I found this copy at the thrift store, and it is like probably new. I mean, like, it doesn't really feel like it's ever been read. So anyway, this is one. Yeah, I'm excited to read this. I can't necessarily say that my expectations are extremely high for it, but I think that it will be a good one, and maybe I will be surprised. I do expect it to be good, but it's just I have heard also some things that it's maybe not as deep as it could be or something. So anyway, I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking forward to reading it. Okay, so that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. So along with being a mom, I love to read books about being a mom and, things that I can do differently or change, and how I can grow and change myself and then pass those things on along to my children. So if you have recommendations, if you have parenting books that have really touched your heart, I would love to know in the comments below. This is definitely not an exhaustive list. I have plenty of other books that I have read that have made an impact on the motherhood part of my life. But these, I think, are just the ones that have shaped me the most and the ones that I find myself thinking of and returning to the most often. So again, thank you so much for being here, and we will see you in the next video.